characters and the quote-unquote bosses, it is time to assemble them together into one game. We did determine that we wanted to base our flow on the theme of the time of day. We associated different emotions across 6 different times as dawn, day, rain, sunset, dusk, and night, and associated colors and shape languages to each. We then applied an emotional curve inspired by a hero's journey and designed a flow for the experience, associated by levels and characters at each stage. We then put everything together to test the flow of the game, a story of a player waking up on an island, finding ways into the sky, uncovering mysteries of the lost civilization, and then eventually ascending to a space for an overview effect. You might think we have figured out pretty much everything at this point, but that's not true. Devil's in the detail. I will share only some of the different iterations we have made on each of these levels. Dawn, we knew it would start on the island, but there was still some idea of mixing a mirage of the modern world to make this initial level give a strong sense of threshold. We played with the idea of leaving our world to enter the realm sky. More ideation of the isle. We had versions where you rowed a boat to enter the sky realm. The concept of the boat was debated until pretty late in the phase. The shapes of the clouds at this level was also iterated a lot. A giant wall of clouds to fly over, or a hole in the clouds to penetrate through. This level has been, by far the most iterated level. We have explored so many ways to lead up into the sky. Next up is Prairie. We used to call these realms by the time of day until pretty late. Many of us, including myself, still reference these levels by the time of day. These concepts by Tom helped us determine the color of the terrain in the sky. We wanted to reference biomes from high altitude. Here a concept of bird's nest. This is pretty close to what we see in our game today in Prairie. We have settled on round and soft shape language because of the secondary layered theme of a human life. This is the second stage after the birth. It's the childhood stage, so we wanted everything to be round and soft. Pretty close to what we know of Prairie today, but at one point we wanted players to go through a cave before coming out to see the blue sky, to contrast the open, vast feel of the sky. You can see here in the sketches some preliminary versions of the gates that led to different levels, or shrines that helped you change dresses you wear. And then forest, we needed emotional curve that dips down a bit, so we added rain as another time of day. Rain was another tricky level. This was probably the most iterated level after dawn. We tried enchanted forest feel. We also tried this level to be to have an elder who seduces you. We also tried to make this level like puzzles or mazes, trying to visualize complexity of the adolescence as the human life theme. This is the third level. After childhood, you became adolescence. There's a mixed emotion. This is a time of the life where your emotion is really complicated. So we tried to also represent that visually. Another important aspect of this level was introduction of industrialization. The third layer of the story was civilization, story of the civilization. So after the civilization has lived in harmony with nature, they start the industrialization. Early concept of the temple shows the dark stone penetrating through the building, and the interior of the temple is also looking very different. After the rain is sunset, emotion raises to a peak. We wanted the gameplay to be more dynamic here, most dynamic. It represents the peak of your life when everything is exciting. This concept by Tom really captured the emotion we wanted for this level. The peak of mountains penetrating through the clouds also became base for our starting area of the Valley of Triumph. Civilization was also at its peak. So this was meant to be most decorative and rich in materials. Many of the concepts here became the base for the key areas in this level. Can you recognize them? After a peak, there's a fall. Dusk was aligned with the midlife crisis for the human life theme, or the post-apocalyptic theme time for the civilization theme. Shadi and Kang jumped in at this time of the production and helped us polish some of the ideas for this level. This was the time when we tried to expand each realms to have various sub-levels. Temple in the Golden Wasteland. Exterior is pretty close to what we see today, but the interior became a lot different. Night is a vault of knowledge. Visual inspiration of this realm was a library and the ethereal dream. Following the arc of the civilization, this is supposed to be most advanced, but we didn't want to make this to feel too technological. Instead, we wanted the whole experience to feel more like a dream or magic, so Jackie did this concept to capture the dreamlike quality of the realm. Some early concept of the shelves and the quote-unquote books. We designed a lantern to be the device that recorded memories, concept done by Tom. And the early prototype of the end of this realm was more like a planetarium, a place where you meet the Oracle to hear about the history and to hear about your own destination as a player. Storm is the final realm. This is the moment of death, and we wanted to visualize the lowest low moments of the game. At one point, we were considering that the Storm realm is black and white. Tom captured the feeling of what it could feel like to be in the midst of a storm, and then tried to approach the Eye of Storm. Then Kang helped added one color, red, into this visual to further enhance the emotion of this realm. At the Eye of Storm, there's a hint of what actually happened in the past. Trevor Stringer concepted the moment before the cataclysm, and Tom painted a version of our representation of darkness. After the death in Storm, you now shoot up into the space. This is a moment of rebirth, the overview effect we wanted to have from the very beginning of the project. For a while, we were going after the idea of the representing the unity of people by a superorganism we called as a megabird. Here's Kang's emotional capture of the moment when everything is coming together. And the evolution of the megabird. If you remember the original sketch done by Genova, we have come far, but I think it's nice to see the original idea kind of stuck around. In the end, we emphasized more on the idea of the stars and constellations, so our megabird became more of a mega constellation. Because there are too many layers of different problems we were solving to consolidate into one experience. I am abbreviating a whole lot of the process that we went through, but I hope you were able to watch how ideas were created and morphed and evolved into what comes Sky today.